Hi everyone, welcome back, and welcome if you're new here. This week we're going to be chatting all about exercise and how to stick to a routine and some motivation tips. But before I get started, welcome to anyone that's new here. My name's Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I run these weekly live streams where we can chat about different health topics and engage in conversation. We have a Q&A that we do towards the end, and I can answer any of your questions. So this week's topic, as I mentioned, is about exercise and staying on routine with our health goals, and how about some motivation tips to get us going. So one thing I wanted to mention was asking all of you, do any of you struggle with being motivated to stay on track with your exercise goals, or do you struggle to find time to do your exercise routine? Let me know in the chat if this is something that any of you struggle with. I know that a lot of people have mentioned that since the pandemic, it has been difficult to kind of get back into a routine that was possibly done before. And maybe that's because the gym has closed, or maybe because, you lost your workout buddy that you used to work out with, or you just lost that outlet of having somewhere to go and do something that you were able to do before. So has anybody been kind of impacted by this? Let me know in the chat if this is something, that's been challenging for you, and if it's been difficult to get to back into a routine of working out that maybe you were doing before. There's even things like, group workouts stopped happening, or yoga classes, or, going on a walk with your friends. All these things had a big impact on our day-to-day routine, and we weren't able to do them anymore. And then now, a year later, it's maybe been challenging to get back into that. Maybe you've started a routine, but you just don't feel as motivated, or you feel difficult or challenging. So let me know in the comments if this is something that you're experiencing. And also, we're going to be chatting a little bit about the different types of exercise. So there's many different types of exercise, and the main ones are either, cardiovascular or weight training. And those are the big ones that we hear about. So the cardiovascular exercise consists of things like swimming and running, walking, any type of thing that can get your heart rate going and get blood flowing through your body. So those are things, like I mentioned, the big running, walking, swimming type of exercise. Then we have weight training, and weight training is more so working on our muscles and our bones. So that's things like weights, strengths, even body exercises, so body workouts, bands and cables, all of that would be considered weight training, and that's where we build up our strength and our bones, and our muscular endurance. So out of those two, let me know, which one do you like better? Do you like the cardio or the weights? And then I'll get into a few more exercises, because we tend to just think it's those two. So for me, I think I usually tend to go towards more of the cardiovascular exercise. I just feel like when I go for a run, I really enjoy that feeling. So let's see what some people have to say. Okay. Okay, so like I mentioned, there's the cardiovascular exercise, there's the weight training. So the cardiovascular, in terms of health benefits, that's good for our heart, and that's good for getting our blood flowing and getting oxygen to all our cells. So that's really good for. It's called cardiovascular because it's good for your cardiovascular system. So there's that, and then the strength training, like I mentioned, is good for building muscle, but it's also really helpful for your bones and like ligaments and joints. But then there's other exercises that we tend to not really think about as exercise, and that's things like sports. So sports are great for building like teamwork skills and helping like engage with other people, and it gives us a bit of a challenge. So sports can either be with other people or on your own. So things like tennis, you can play like tennis against the wall, or you can play tennis in pairs, or even getting a group of people together and playing soccer or hockey. So those are more of like interactive kind of things in sports. So that would be another group. Okay. So we talked a little bit about cardiovascular, strength training, sports, and then there's also things like relaxation or stretching, those kind of things like yoga, tai chi, meditation, stretching. Those ones are really good for having that body mind connection. So having deep breaths to connect with the body mind, putting your body into that parasympathetic relaxation state. So those kind of exercises are really good for that. So out of all those ones that I've mentioned, so either cardiovascular or strength or sports or the more, meditation, relaxation, yoga, tai chi, which one do you tend to go towards, like out of those four? Or if there's another type of exercise that you like, let me know in the chat which of those exercises do you like the best, and what do you usually try to put into your everyday routine. So let me know your favorite. Just kidding. I'm just trying to see. Okay. Sorry, I think that. Give me 1 second. For some reason, my chat box isn't showing up. Sorry, just give me one moment. I can't. Sorry, one moment. My chat is not working. The box went away. Okay. So for some reason, my chat isn't working. So just give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up elsewhere. So, okay. So some of you have mentioned that it's hard to exercise regularly. You used to go to the gym, but now it's closed. So yeah, okay. So a lot of people are saying that they are walking, but they don't feel like it's enough. I still cannot get used to exercising on Zoom opportunities. Sorry about that. And my chat kind of just went away. Cardio, like cardio, I like cardio. So a lot of people are saying cardio. let's see, is weights good for arthritis? So weights are good for helping to like build up the bone and improve bone health and bone strength. So it's good to prevent things like osteoporosis. In terms of like arthritis, you'd have to be careful with what type of exercises you are doing. So, anything like high intensity weights would probably not be the best. You want to maybe do body weight exercises or modified weight exercises, but they're still really great for helping with bone health. Okay, a lot of people are also mentioning walking. Walking is huge. Enjoy long walks outdoors, especially during this time. It's a great way to stay active and get fresh air. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Sorry, just give me a second. It was just having some technical difficulties. Okay, so ideally you want to incorporate a variety of exercises in your routine. So having things like if you're doing a lot of the cardiovascular exercise, then you always want to try to do stretching or some sort of grounding relaxation exercise to kind of offset what you've done. So that's always something to keep in mind that's important. Stretching is great for just helping, prevent injury, and it's good for preventing any wear and tear on the muscles. So having a variety of things is always helpful. And then let's kind of talk a little bit about how exercise goes, like just far beyond just the physical appearance or the physical benefits of things. So exercise is great for mental health. And I'm not sure if any of you have heard of these chemicals in our bodies called endorphins, but they are like our feel-good chemicals, and they are released when we exercise. And the more you exercise, the more they're released. And then that's why exercise is great for improving an overall mood and helping with your overall mental health. So that's one great aspect. The other thing would be sleep. So exercise does help improve sleep. It helps improve our sleep quality and helps us like feel better rested when waking up. So this is through just that like kind of little bit of fatigue that we put on our bodies when we exercise, and then it just helps us get more of a restful sleep at night. The other thing, like I mentioned before, is like how it's good for the heart. So it's good for the cardiovascular system, and it's also good for blood sugar control. So for like diabetes and helping, control our blood sugar and helping prevent insulin resistance. So exercise is great for that. And then also the muscular and bone standpoint that I kind of mentioned before, how it's great for building strength in the body and helping just have stronger muscles and stronger bones to prevent, injuries and falls as we get older. So those are kind of some of the benefits of exercise. So before we jump into some of like the tips of how to start a workout, if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't, you can click notifications. So that's the bell button. So if you click that, then you will get notified every time I go live and when I make a new video, just to send you a little reminder to your phone. Okay, so anybody have any questions so far about anything that we've chatted about? Let me know. And if not, then we'll jump into the workout. Not a workout. I'm not making you work out. I mean, how to start a workout. Some tips for that. Let me just see if there's any other comments that I missed. I don't think so. So some people are mentioning it's hard to get motivated. So I will be getting some tips later that we'll be talking about motivation. Okay, so is it better to exercise in the morning is one of the questions. So I was going to go into a little bit about this later, but it's actually, it really doesn't matter. You want to just choose a time of day that works for you. So whether, one of my tips was going to be like, figure out if you're a morning person or an evening person. If, you're trying to force yourself to work out in the morning and you're not a morning person, then maybe working out in the evening is better for you. So there is some research that if you work out maybe too close to bedtime, you might then have difficulty falling asleep if you did a really high intensity workout. So that's just something to keep in mind. But overall, you want to be able to just find something that is attainable for you and that can fit into your schedule. So either if it's the morning, afternoon, or evening, any workout is a good workout. So that would be my answer for that one. Okay. Let's continue then. Okay, so when making or when starting a workout, first thing is you want to do something that is enjoyable to you. So find kind of, out of all the exercises that are out there, out of all the things that you can do, you want something that you like doing, otherwise you're not going to do it. So if you hate running and you're trying to go and do running, it's just, you're not going to be able to stick to it. You won't be able to follow your goals, or it just won't be attainable, or even like in the long run, because it's something that you don't enjoy doing. So that would be first things first, just pick something that you like doing. Like as I mentioned before, there's cardio, there's weights, and we tend to just think those are the two things, right? Those are only two things, but there's so much more than that. Like even just yoga is considered a workout, or even just a walk is considered a workout, or like I said, sports. Get a group of friends and do something that you can enjoy doing, or if you can't go with friends because of restrictions, just maybe a family member or something. So that would be the best type of exercise, is doing what you enjoy doing. And then, so sometimes the hardest part of getting into a workout routine is just showing up. So let me know in the comments, is that something that you struggle with too? Is it the showing up part? Because for me, once I get myself there, so whether it's at the gym in the past, or my home gym, or whether it's like getting myself out the door to go do a run, once I actually do that, then I find like, okay, the workout it's so much easier to do. But the hardest part is just getting yourself there. So does anybody else, does that happen to any of you? Do you feel that like just the hardest part is just getting there and showing up for the workout? So let me know if that's something that you also struggle with, and then we'll talk about some motivation tips to kind of maybe combat that or overcome that. Okay. So yes, like I mentioned, first things first, have a workout that you're actually going to do, something that you enjoy. Next, you want to be realistic. You want to be able to set realistic goals. So I'm going to go into this in a little bit more detail about how to make goals or, workout routine that is actually going to be realistic. So we'll jump into that in a little bit. Another thing is knowing that it gets easier. So it takes time to make a habit. It takes time to put something into your daily routine. So just knowing that at first it's going to be a little bit challenging, but then it will get easier the more that you do it. So we tend to, give up before we've given things enough time to try it out, or we tend to be too hard on ourselves and don't give it enough time to actually see proper results. So just know that it does get easier, and the more you try to stick to your routine, eventually it will be a little bit easier. Okay, let's see what some people are saying in the comments before I jump to the next one. So some people are talking about like preferring a walk before bed because it's difficult, at night. Should you eat before or after a workout? So, okay, so in terms of eating before or after a workout, it depends how much you're going to be eating. So it's important to have some fuel before a workout. But if you're gonna eat, then you want to at least leave about at least an hour before you work out, and maybe you can have something small and something that would be more of a high carbohydrate meal, because that's going to help fuel you and give you energy for your your muscles and your body. Or after workout, it's still important to eat, and usually you'd want to have something like a high protein meal, something to give you that like nourishing amino acids to help restore any lost amino acids through working out and helping with your muscles. So that would be kind of I would say both is important, but just making sure you're spacing it out enough before working out. Some people enjoy working out like on an empty stomach, and they can do that, but having a little bit of food and then giving yourself some time to digest it is important. You never want to eat something and then go work out, because you're going to get cramps, you're not going to feel good, your blood is going to be flowing to your muscles instead of your gut, and then therefore it won't be able to digest things properly. Okay, what else do we got? So somebody's mentioning that like listening to music is helpful. So listening to music is great for helping stay motivated. A lot of people are saying it is tough to get going, but once you can start, you can do it. Staying glued to our screens is toxic, so like a digital detox would be good remedy to allow for improvement in other areas like exercising. Yeah, exactly. So we tend to always be on our screens a lot, so taking some time away from that and exercising would be something that we could do instead. Okay, so I mentioned choose something you enjoy, be realistic, which I'll go into, know that it gets easier. And another thing for starting a routine is starting slow. So we tend to be over ambitious and think that we can achieve these huge fitness goals, and then we end up just getting burnt out. So you want to always start slow. So if you're not working out at all, then start with maybe once a day or twice a day, and start with something light, like something like walking or something like yoga. If you are already working out and you want to increase it, don't increase it like from a couple of days a week to every single day, an hour a day. You want to slowly increase it. So always the important thing would be to start slow, so that way you're going to be able to stick to your goals. A lot of times, we get really excited at the beginning of starting a workout routine, and we might do many things. Maybe we're working out every day. And then in the end, we just burn ourselves out, or we get unmotivated because maybe we're not able to work out the next day because we're so sore or tired. So that's a huge thing, is recognizing the muscle burnout or even the emotional burnout part and starting slow. Okay, and then another thing that we kind of mentioned in the comments before was finding a time of day that works for you. So whether that be morning, afternoon, or evening, you want to pick a time that is suitable for your schedule. So kind of analyze your schedule the way it is now and pick out what time of day would be good for you. So if you have to work really early in the morning, maybe it might be challenging for you to get up in the morning and do that. So maybe something more in the afternoon, the evening is better for you. If you find that you like sleeping in a lot and you need that extra rest in the morning, maybe you're more of an afternoon person. And it doesn't always, whenever we think of workouts, we think we have to maybe do an hour or an hour and a half at a time, but it doesn't have to be like that. If that works for you, then that's great. But there is research to show that even breaking it up for like 20 minutes or 10 and 10 minutes a day, then that is still beneficial, because we tend to sit a lot at our desks, and that long-term sedentary lifestyle is what's actually causing more harm, and it's not really going to be offset by just doing an hour workout. So trying to get up and get moving throughout the day is beneficial. Okay, so we kind of talked, let's just recap about, what we can do to start a workout. So I talked about picking a workout that you enjoy, knowing that it gets easier, starting slow, and then finding a time of day that works for you. So out of all those things that I mentioned, which one do you think that you struggle with? Do you find that you're not able to find something that you enjoy? Do you think that you jump into things too quickly and you get too overexcited about starting a routine and then you end up just getting burnt out? Are you really tough on yourself and maybe you don't see results in a couple of weeks and then you just give up? Or do you not really know what time of day to work out? You don't know what to do. So out of those four things, or let me know in the comments, which of those do you struggle with in order like to get your workout routine going? Let me know in the comments. I think for me, it would be not starting slow. I think that I tend to get overexcited when I first get into a workout, or if it's a new workout, a new app, or just even running or something. I get really excited and I'll just want to do them all at once, and then I end up getting tired, or my muscles hurt so I can't do it every day, and then that kind of makes me fall out of the routine of doing it. Okay, so somebody mentioned don't see results. So yep, that's a huge thing, is if you don't see results, then you get unmotivated, and that's fair, because we want to see results, of course. So in that case, you want to always reassess like what you're doing, and are you doing too little? Are you doing too much? And also know that the benefits of exercise are just far beyond the physical part of things, because that might help you then continue with getting into the routine of things, because if you realize it's good for your overall health, it's going to help prevent any cardiovascular disease, it's going to help keep your bones strong, that might help you and remind you to stick into the routine of doing an exercise rather than just for the physical appearance of things. Somebody mentioned they just like eating. So, eating is important. That's important for fueling our body, but then we also have to remember we have to burn that off too. Having a hard time finding something that is best suited for me. Okay, so you want to try different things out. In that case, there's many different videos even on YouTube, or there's many different apps, or doing an activity outdoors. It would take time to just try different things and see what works for you, and also what works for your lifestyle. So if you're not somebody that, if you're not able to dedicate an hour to go cycling a day, then maybe that wouldn't be like the option for you. Maybe you need to do more of an at-home 10-minute yoga workout or something like that. So those are some kind of tips for that. So let's move into what I mentioned before about being realistic. So there's an acronym, and it's called SMART goals. So SMART. And I'm going to go into each of those and how you can use that to create a workout that you'll end up sticking to, and is something that's more achievable, and just overall better to keep you motivated. So the S stands for specific. So this is, you want to be clear, and you want to have your exercise, I'm going to say goal, but it can just, whatever your exercise objective is, you want it to be specific and well defined. So saying something like, I want to exercise, is not very specific. You have to be a little bit more specific. Okay, so I want to go for a walk 4 days a week after dinner. So something like that is a little bit more specific. When you're more specific, you're more likely to stay to it. You can even get even more specific than that and pick days. So I want to go for a walk on Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. because you have the live stream at 7 p.m. on Friday, so you have to, go for your walk after that. So something like that. So just picking days and picking times, that is more specific, and then you're more likely to stick to that. So that would be the first thing. M is measurable. So how much? How can you know that you've reached your goal? So for example, if we add on to that walking one, maybe you're going to say, I want that walk to be 6,000 steps a day, or the 2 days that you're going to be going, or the 4 days, whatever it is. I want my walk to be 6,000 steps. So that's something that you can measure, and that way you're on track. So if you just go and do your workouts, but you're never having something to measure, or you don't know if you're seeing any progress, how will you know? So even if you're just doing regular weights, maybe you're measuring the amount of weight that you're using. So maybe you're starting with 5 pounds and then you're going up to 10 pounds. Or maybe you're measuring your heart rate or something with a tracker. So when you're going for your runs, you're able to measure that. Maybe you're measuring the number of push-ups that you can do, the number of sit-ups. So when we have these types of guidelines in our routines that we're doing, we're able to then stick to it because we know how much we can measure. And I like measuring those things over measuring weight. I mean, if that's your goal, you could measure weight, or you could even measure measurements like waist circumference or arm width or circumference. Like those are other goals or things you can measure. But anything that you can measure is just going to be able to have something that you can see if you've achieved any benefits, because you may have some results, you just might not know it because you're not tracking it. Okay, then A is attainable or achievable, either or, attainable, achievable. So you want the goal or the exercise routine to be something that you're able to actually do. So is it something that's physically possible by humans? Is it something that's physically possible by you? Do you have the resources to do it? So if you're saying, okay, I want to play tennis every day, well, if you don't have a tennis racket or a tennis ball, or if you don't have a tennis court close to you, then maybe that's not an achievable or attainable goal. So having something like that, something that is achievable for you, then that would be a good part to put into your plan. Otherwise, if you can't achieve it, then you're just going to, fall back and not succeed. Okay, then the next thing would be realistic. So is this something that you believe you can do? Are you able to do it? Is it something that you believe you can accomplish? So if you've never ran before, then you wouldn't want to say, I want to run 10K next week. Maybe you want to, like I mentioned, start slow. So maybe if running is something that you want to do, start with 1 kilometer and then, or even half a kilometer, and then increase it, whatever works for you. So it has to be realistic. Otherwise, it's not going to be something that you can do. So going back to the example that I said about walking, so making sure that, let's say my goal is I want to walk twice a week for 6,000 steps each time I go for a walk, and I want to be able to feel good after doing that. So having something like that. And then the last thing is T, which is timely. So you want to be able to have a time frame of doing this. Otherwise, when do you know when you've reached your exercise goal, or when do you know when you've been able to achieve the results that you need to achieve? So maybe, let's say, by the end of the summer, I want to be able to go on that walk and do 6,000 steps, and then do a total of however X many amount of steps by the end of August. So you need to have a start time and an end time in order to stay motivated. So let me just recap, and while I'm recapping, let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the SMART goals, or is this something that you've used before? Is it something that you think you'll use when creating your exercise routine? So to recap them, we have specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic, and timely. So specific was making sure that it's really clear and well defined. Measurable is having an outcome that you can measure, whether it be number of steps, whether it be number of push-ups, how much weight you can deadlift, or if you want to do it in terms of calories or pounds or heart rate. So that would be the measurable thing. Attainable is, again, or achievable. It has to be something that's within your means, something that you have the resources to do. Realistic is, it has to be something that you can accomplish. So something that is within your physical abilities to do. And then T is timely, having that time frame and knowing when you want to achieve those goals by. Okay, so somebody's mentioned that SMART is new to me. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, it is a good acronym to follow, and a way of doesn't even just apply to exercise goals. It can apply to anything that you want to do in your life, any type of goal that you want to do, whether it be work related or life related. It's just helpful for helping you stay on track and making sure that you just don't overestimate what you can do and you don't then burn out. Okay. All right. Okay. So we talked a little bit at the beginning about how do you stay motivated. We talked a little bit about the beginning about, types of exercise and different forms and what the benefits of exercise are. We talked about SMART goals, and now I'm going to give you some motivation tips. So what I already mentioned before was choosing something that you enjoy doing. So that would be number one tip for staying motivated, is choosing something that you enjoy doing. If you don't enjoy doing it, you're not going to be motivated to do it. You're not going to want to do it. I see so many people that force themselves to go running and they hate it and they go, oh, I have to go for a run. Well, why are you making yourself do that? You don't have to go for a run. There's so many other ways that you can get benefits through physical activity, different activities. So how to stay motivated, choose something that you enjoy. And number two, if this is something that you like doing, would be having a workout buddy, or having somebody. It doesn't even have to be somebody that you're working out with, just somebody to hold you accountable to what you're doing. So whether that be somebody that you actually want to go work out with, or somebody that you just check in with. Now with everything, being so digital, and we're always using ways in social media of connecting with people, having somebody to just check in with and hold you accountable would be a good thing to do. So that could even just be a friend or a family member. Both of you can pick I'm going to go work out this many times a week, and they're going to work out that many times a week. You check in at the end of the week, ask each other, how did it go? So that way, if you have to report to somebody, then it helps you, stay a little bit more motivated and be accountable and hold you to doing what you want to do. So that would be another one. Number three would be putting it in your calendar as it is a meeting. Pretend that this is a meeting with yourself. So if you had a meeting with your boss, you would show up for that meeting, right? You put in your calendar and you remember to show up. So why don't you treat yourself the same way? So write it in your calendar. Amanda, work out with Amanda or myself at 2:00 on Thursday, and I have to go and do that because that's what I put in my schedule, and I made the time for that. So that way you plan your whole schedule around that too. So that's a really good tip, is just having like it physically written down somewhere helps you stay more motivated to doing it. Okay. Another one, which is a little bit funny, but this would be wearing your workout clothes to bed. And obviously you want them to be clean and you don't want them to be smelly, but wearing your workout clothes to bed, that way when you get up in the morning, you're already in your workout clothes and you're gonna go do a quick workout before you get started with your day. So that is a good way of just like putting your mind into that mood of like, okay, I'm in these workout clothes, so I gotta work out. Or if you don't want to sleep in the workout clothes, maybe just putting them like laid out somewhere on like the bed, or hanging them on the closet in front of the closet. It's just somewhere where you can see them in plain sight. That will remind you, okay, when I see that, I gotta go work out. Let's see what some people are saying in the comments before I jump into some more tips. So somebody was mentioning, I think it's important to set a realistic bar. I find it so hard when I expect to work out every day versus 2 to 3 days a week. Yes, exactly. So going back to that, like, realistic part of knowing how much your body can handle is huge. So 2 to 3 days a week is amazing. So start with that and then see how you go. Working out with a friend really helps keep me motivated. Yes, it definitely does. I find so too. Or even just having a goal with a friend that you can both do, and like, we're gonna complete this many workouts in the week. That I find really helpful too. Let's see. Somebody said, yes, I once worked out with my best friends at school consistently and it was so helpful. Yeah, so that's also a thing that we're all missing now, is maybe we've been taken out of some environments that we were in before, and maybe it's hard now to work out with friends. So if you're finding that it's hard to work out with your friends because of restrictions, then I would say look into like setting up like goals with them where you can check in with each other. So asking them to check in on you. Hey, did you work out this week, or something like that. So that would be kind of something you can do instead of working out with them if you can't. Signing up for a set date and time class helps too. Yes, that is very helpful. So if classes are running again, signing up for a class, and like especially if you have to pay for it, you're going to go do it because you've paid for it. You put that time in your, agenda, and then you're going to go do that class. So that's a great tip. I remember working out with Amanda. Yes, I think that was a bit of too much of an intense workout, and we were sore after that. So somebody mentioned put up a poster of Michael Jordan and LeBron for motivation, but not Jonas. Yeah, so that is another good thing for motivation, is having some sort of role model or somebody to look up to. Of course, you want it to be something that's actually not going to make you feel down on yourself if you see this person getting shredded and you're not. Like, you want it to be maybe somebody that's more like an athlete, or something that's a bit more subdued. Like, you don't want it to affect you the wrong way. Good idea. Lay out your clothes. Yeah, that is a good one. And play the Rocky theme. Yep. So running is a great, not running, sorry. Listening to music is a great way of staying motivated. So helping you stay motivated. If you set up your playlist before and then have it ready to go, putting on songs that get you excited, that is a huge way of staying motivated. Okay, so let's see what else I was going to mention. Okay, the next one would be rewarding yourself. So this is very important. So we tend to, have these big goals that we want to do, or do all this work. But if we don't reward ourselves, then how are we going to feel good about what we did? So there's many different ways you can reward yourself, and it doesn't have to be like what people think, like the typical go and have a cheat day. It doesn't even have to be that. Maybe it's buying yourself like a new running t-shirt, or maybe it's buying yourself a new pair of exercise shoes or running shoes. Maybe a reward is going out with a friend somewhere. So just these small rewards, or even if you have like a workout buddy, then you can have somehow think of something for both of you, like a reward system. So that is a way of also staying motivated. So if at the end of the month, maybe you have a little reward for yourself if you did all like your workout goals or whatever you wanted to do that month. Can we reward ourselves with a gabagoo sandwich and Ruffles after one? See, well then you don't really want to do that, because then you just defeated the purpose of a run. So maybe that could be something you would incorporate more monthly. So if you did all the exercise that you wanted to do that month, maybe at the end of the month that's like a treat that you give yourself. Okay, another thing that is really important for motivation and for preventing burnout is giving yourself time to rest, giving yourself time to recharge. Don't feel bad about taking a rest day. So that is huge, because if we then burn ourselves out for that whole week, and this kind of goes back to making realistic goals, but if we go that whole week of working out and then we don't take time to recharge or rest, then we're not going to be able to continue. We're not going to feel motivated because we're not going to feel good. Or maybe you worked out so hard to the point that you can't work out for a few days, and then you're not motivated after that because you kind of got out of the habit of doing something. So even if you have difficulty with taking a rest day, maybe you want to kind of still stay in like the routine of doing something. Maybe your rest day can even just be like deep breathing exercises or stretching. Stretching is a great thing to do on a rest day, because that way we're still doing something. So our mind is still in that, process of, okay, I'm still moving my body, but it's a great way of unwinding and recharging. So that would be something that is really important to prevent burnout, and just mental and physical burnout would be giving yourself time to recharge on a rest day. Okay. One other good tip for motivation is, this kind of goes back to when I talked about that difficulty of just starting, of getting there. But once you get there and you did your workout, you felt so good. So one tip would be, is if you're struggling to go and do the workout or do that run or do that weightlifting, think ahead into the future and be like, okay, if I did this workout, how would I feel? And think back to what you did before. And when you did those workouts, did you feel good? Did you feel that like sense of accomplishment? Did you feel that burst of energy? Did you feel that like endorphins feeling? So think about that, and then that may motivate you to then go work out, because you're going to be like, if I do this workout, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel this way. So I'm going to go do the workout. Because a lot of the times, like I mentioned, it's just the starting is that it's difficult. So that would be a good tip to do. And then the last kind of motivation tip, we kind of already touched on this a bit, but would be being part of a community, being part of, whether it be like an online workout community or a community with your friends. Being part of a community can help you stay motivated, because you have other people that you can chat with about that. So that would be my last tip. So let me just recap the tips for you. And then while I'm doing that, put any of your questions that you have in the chat, and then I will answer them for the rest of the night. So, number 1, choose something that you enjoy. Number 2, have a workout buddy. Number 3, put in your calendar like it's an appointment for yourself. Number 4, wear your clothes to bed or have them laid out the night for the next morning. Number 5, reward yourself. Number 6 would be giving yourself time to recharge, taking a rest day. 7 would be thinking about how you're going to feel after that workout, so that way it motivates you to do it. And the last one would be being a part of a community, so that way you can feel motivated to do more things. So any questions about whether it be about workouts, different types of workouts, if you wanted if you have a question about specific workout or anything health related, let me know now in the Q&A, and I will take the next 10 minutes to answer. Okay. I think another tip that I kind of just thought about too would be having a variety of things too. So maybe unless you're somebody that loves to do the same thing all the time, then that's fine. But having a variety of things might also keep you motivated. So maybe one day you go do the run, and then maybe on like Saturdays you're going to go play sports or something like that, or you're going to go swimming. So having a little bit of a variety of something might keep you motivated to do it because you're constantly doing something else, rather than like sticking to the same thing. You might get tired or bored of it. Okay, so we have a question. What is the best exercise to get a flat tummy? So like with getting abs or getting rid of excess weight, exercise is great, but also diet plays a huge role in that. Like I don't even know how much percent to say is like exercise or diet, but diet plays a huge role in that. So in terms of what exercises are good, so cardio exercise is good because it helps to burn calories. It gets you going, so it helps all like the muscle groups, which is great. And then there's like specific toning exercises. So you would do like ab workouts, or even planks are a good one. And just overall any like high intensity interval training that helps to like burn some more calories would be helpful. But then having the proper diet to go with it. So if you, go and do all these workouts, but then your eating habits aren't great, then that's just going to offset everything. So making sure that you're having lots of vegetables, protein, fruits, good carbohydrates, and less of the like refined sugars and refined grains, then that would be like what will go hand in hand to creating an overall healthy body image. Should you eat right after you work out or wait for a while? So there's some research out there that says you should have it within a certain amount of time. You should consume your protein within a certain amount of time, so that way it helps with muscle building. So you could do that, having like a high protein. Some people like having protein shakes, or having even just protein like a meal like with meat. Having it after that can help replete any lost amino acids, and helping with that. Or if you wanted to wait, if you don't feel like eating right away, you could, but don't wait too long. Like don't wait too many hours, because then you kind of miss that opportunity to refuel your body, and you also might then not feel so good because you burned off some calories. But again, not eating too big of a meal where you're just gonna go lose all the benefits that you gain from the exercise. You want to make sure it's still a healthy meal. And the next question, is it important to have protein after you work out? So I think I just answered that. Yes, it is important to have protein after you work out, but it's important to have, protein all throughout your day. It's important if you're able to have balanced meals with protein, carbohydrates, and fat all throughout the day, then you'll be fine. You don't have to like super load up on protein after a workout, but making sure that you are having some protein is important. All right, any other, did I miss anything else? Let me see. Yeah, so I think a lot of people before were talking about how working out with friends is helpful for staying motivated. Okay. So if there's no other questions, I'll just wait one more minute. But okay, if you haven't already done so, I mentioned at the beginning, but just give this video a nice big thumbs up. It really helps getting the video across YouTube and getting my channel noticed. So that would be very much appreciated. And share, the channel with anybody else that you think would benefit from this and you think that would enjoy meeting on a weekly basis and chatting about different health things. So for next week, I'm going to be going into different diets and talking about the benefits and the research on different diets. So things like paleo, keto, intermittent fasting, Mediterranean diet, all those diets that are out there, what they are good for, and which one's the best diet, really, like what's the best diet. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you tune back next week. Make sure you bring me your questions, and I also want to know, which diets have you tried, what has worked for you, and so if that's everything then for today, I hope you all enjoyed this week's live stream, and I will see you all next week at 7 p.m. on Friday. Bye.